Welcome back to Success After 60. So now we are all agreed, well, at least most of us are agreed, that life doesn't need to stop or even slow down all that much once we turn 60 or 65 or 70 or more than that. Just because the world is telling us that we're running low on vitality doesn't mean we are. The former mayor of Mississauga, Ontario, yesterday accepted a new job at the University of Toronto's Mississauga campus. She's 94 years old. If we have the health and the interest and occasional support from other people like us, we can keep firing all our engines until we really do run out of fuel. Our goal is to look at this period of our lives as a newfound opportunity to fulfill our passions that have often been neglected when we were younger because of other commitments. Some of us know what that passion is already, but some of us do not. We have a vague idea or a vague feeling that there's something we're burning to achieve, but we can't quite put our finger on it. This video contains several suggestions on how you can begin to find the initiative that feels right for you, the one that you're going to find personally fulfilling. It's not going to provide a definitive answer. That's up to you, of course. But I hope that my suggestions will get you started. You need to start with a notebook or a computer document that you've opened because you're going to make some lists. And by the way, I'll be posting this video on my Success After 60 blog. The link is below the video there. And so you don't need to write down all these questions because they'll be right there for you to find. So you can just listen at this point. Where to start? Well, start at the beginning. You can call your first list childhood, because childhood is the place where many people go to look to find the threads that they may have dropped a long time ago that they love to pick up again now. So imagine yourself as a child again at the age of 7 or 9 or 12, and let yourself remember what it was that you loved to do back then. What kinds of activities couldn't you wait to do after supper was over or when you got up in the morning? Think outdoor and indoor activities here. What kinds of books engaged your attention when you were at the library? What presents that you received for birthday presents or at other times of the year really thrilled you, and why? What were your hobbies? What did you and your best friends love to do outside of school? What activities did you most love doing with your mom or dad or with other adults? How about with your sisters or your brothers? Maybe it was hunting through the woods, looking for insects or rocks. Maybe it was building sandcastles in minute detail or raking leaves into different shapes. Maybe you enjoyed model cars or paint by number. Just make these lists for now. Things that really intrigued or interested you. Let your mind wander. Don't judge. Don't tell yourself, that's irrelevant to my passion now. Just write it down. Nothing is ever wasted, and maybe someday you'll write a memoir, and this free association activity will provide you with raw materials for lots of things to write about that you did when you were small. So, moving on, what were your interests in school? What were your favorite subjects before your interest in them got drilled out of you? Who were your favorite teachers, and why do you think those people were your favorite teachers? Did you go to summer camp, overnight camps, or day camps? What did you most enjoy doing there? Did you have arts and crafts sessions or other recreational activities that particularly appealed to you? All of us have some unhappy memories from our childhoods, and most of us are already going there too often to reflect on them. Forget about those for now and let yourself think about the good stuff. All of us had happy times, at least some. We just need to remember what it was that made us happy about them, the chord that they touched in us. When I started to think about this kind of thing, I started remembering how much I loved canoeing, being on the water, feeling the strength in my arms. I remembered making a lamp in pottery class at camp. It was the ugliest thing you've ever seen, but I loved it and I was so proud of it. I remembered that I liked sewing in home economics, as they called it then, and for some reason I can't remember it all, I also discovered that I just loved taking books down off the shelf, history books, whatever was around, books that adults around the house would read, and copying passages out of them into a notebook. I don't know why, but I guess I've always been attracted to the idea of the book and to being involved in creating it. I remembered how big an impression it was to watch my mother sitting and playing the piano, or my grandmother, deeply involved in reading a book. Do you remember at that age what you wanted to be when you grew up? I don't. But if you do, it would probably be useful, so write that down too. And again, don't censor. Don't think, I can't afford to do that, or I'm too stiff in the joints for that, or I don't know how to draw, or I'm not even interested in that anymore. Just make the list. When you fully mind your childhood, move on to your teen years. Start a new list and call it teens. All of us had mentors, role models, even crushes on older people when we were in our young teen years. Who impressed you the most? Why? Was it something they were doing that you wanted to do? Think about your first boyfriends or girlfriends. What attracted you to them, aside from the hormones, of course? Now go forward into your adulthood and start a new list, or even break it down even further into 2 or more lists. One called early adulthood and one called middle adulthood, for example. Think about parents you met and admired in different groups when you were taking your kids around to hockey practices or ballet rehearsals, or to soccer games, and standing on the edge of the field and just talking to other parents. Did they mention something that they were doing that you thought, boy, that'd be so much fun. I wish I'd thought of doing that. Or maybe it was someone you met during your working years who made you think, I wish I'd taken up that career instead of what you had done. These aren't necessarily co-workers, although they could be, of course, but they might be people you worked with in different fields entirely. A patient at the hospital where you worked who had decided to become a justice of the peace and marry couples who wanted to be married in a civil ceremony, or a guy doing maintenance on your office photocopier who talked to you about his woodworking and his wood carvings. And again, look at your reading habits over the years. What kind of books have stuck with you? Why? Was there an area of interest in there that caught your attention because you wished that you could do that? Maybe you want to become a detective. Why not? Think again of Angela Lansbury and Murder, She Wrote. She was no spring chicken. When I look back, I remember the thrill of a set of crafts books that I ordered called Golden Hands. And I loved those when I was a young parent. Each time a new volume arrived, I was thrilled and looked through it page after page. Crafts like needlework and sewing and knitting continued to be of great interest to me. And if I weren't a writer, I've always thought how much fun it would be to create patterns for unusual sweaters, or for sewing unusual clothes or something like that. I think you could really express yourself that way. That's something that's always interested me a lot. What sections of the museum or the art gallery interest you? What kinds of plays or movies do you most enjoy? Ask yourself why. And take your time making these lists and leave them open. Tomorrow, while you're buying eggs or pomegranates, or next week when you're doing yoga, you might suddenly remember something that could go on your teens list or your childhood list. You don't want to close the lists down. They're ongoing records of things that interested you for reasons you may not know, and you may never know. Understanding them isn't what's important here. It's just writing them down. Finally, explore your own expertise. If you've been working for decades in a specific field, you've probably acquired a lot of expertise about that field or related field. If it's the field itself, maybe you want to keep working with that into your senior years, even after you've retired. You might think of taking another approach to it or interpreting it in another medium. But there are also related and maybe even unrelated areas that you know about and are fascinated in without ever really having thought about it much. After I'd been working in different positions for a number of years, for example, I was executive director of the Writers Guild of Alberta, and then I was editor-in-chief of a publishing company, and then I was awards facilitator at a university, I suddenly realized that I had learned a huge amount about writing grant applications. So I made a series of audio casts about how to write a funding application. I also wrote a book about that subject for academics. Perhaps you've been a teacher, and over the course of your career, you've figured out how to do a few things from watching invited speakers at your school, what they do right and how they really mess up and bore the students half to death. Maybe you want to write some articles about that or create videos like this one that will be of help to people who may need to speak to classrooms full of students in future. One thing can lead to another in a field like that. If your ideas are sound and word gets around, you quickly can become an expert. And when it comes to being an expert, age is an asset rather than a barrier. What I've been saying here in summary is to think divergently, free associate, and have fun. No idea is too silly if it pulls at something inside you and attracts your interest. And when you have your lists, look over them and think, what do these things I've been interested in have in common? Why did I let that area of interest get away from me? Do I want to bring it back? Is there something in my list that might turn into an enterprise that I'd love to devote my time to for a while? And if you're still short on ideas, check out the lists of vocations or careers or hobbies that you can find everywhere on the internet and on Wikipedia. I was amazed how many hobbies were listed on Wikipedia. At this time of our lives, hobbies can become full-time jobs if we want them to be that, and they can even bring in some money for us if we're confident and creative. Take your time. Let these thoughts intrigue you, not stress you. If you allow them to percolate, something will rise to the top, usually when you're least expecting it. And it doesn't hurt to give one thing a try, find out it's not for you, and then try something else. Maybe you'll never find one passion. Trying something and then trying something else and then trying something else again is a fantastic way to live. Some of the people I enjoy the most are passionate about not one thing, but many things. I'm really interested to know your thoughts about finding your passion. Have you found yours? When did you find it and how? Do you have some suggestions that might help other people who are looking for theirs? Ideas that people might try to start that haven't been mentioned here? Let us know in the comments section of the Success After 60 blog. I look forward to seeing you there. And don't forget to pick up one of my books and help me live my passion. I really don't want to have to monetize the Success After 60 videos, and I would love to just be able to keep on creating them and sell some books while I'm at it. So thank you. The links are on the Success After 60 blog pages and also on successafter60.net. Thank you so much. I think you'll enjoy them. And click on subscribe if you want to be notified when the next video is released. There's a subscribe button right underneath this video. Next time I'm going to talk about how to get started on making your vision come to life. And I'll see you then.